What up, Jippers? Today we're going to be shining the Jip light on yet another awesome looking space game currently in development, and this video was actually suggested by one of my longtime Patreon supporters, so thank you very much, Anakey. I hope you liked the video. Rebel Galaxy Outlaw is an upcoming space game that will focus heavily on insane over-the-top ship combat, absolutely wild levels of ship and gear customization, and the occasional stop at a seedy little dive bar. The game is kinda sorta not really a prequel to Rebel Galaxy. But this time around, it's a totally different ride, with players being placed in the cockpit in a visually stunning galaxy being brought to life by Double Damage Games and coming in 2019 to PC, PS4, and freaking Switch for only 30 buckaroonies. Rebel Galaxy Outlaw is the game that the developers wanted to make the first time around, but at the time when they were making Rebel Galaxy, the original, they were too worried about creating something like this because they thought it would be crushed completely by other space sim type games that were around at that sort of time. We're talking about things like Elite Dangerous, Star Citizen, and No Man's Sky. But looking back, they've realised that what they're creating here and what they're doing with RGO is nothing like those games. If Elite Dangerous is a lifestyle, Star Citizen is a hyper sim, and No Man's Sky is more of an experience, then Rebel Galaxy Outlaw is very much a game. RGO takes place in a greasy blue-collar world full of outlaws, truckers, cops, and thieves. Slide into your cockpit, switch on the subspace radio, and listen to one of 7 stations with over 21 hours of music, DJs, and commercials. Drop by a seedy dive bar and play a round of 8-ball pool or dice poker for credits or gear. Or get out there and start pulling hard turns and raking the hull of your target with 45mm lead while fire billows from their engine housing. Dragging a cluster of Magnum mines into an imposing pirate cruiser, seeing the glass crack on your windscreen as a mini-torp detonates just off your port side, flaming and sparking debris tumbling into the back. That is exactly what Rebel Galaxy Outlaw is all about. Fast, furious, space combat madness. For anyone wondering, the developers have suggested that the gamepad is the best way to play, but you can also use a mouse and keyboard. And if you are one of those HOTAS wielding folks and hardcore old schoolers, there is a fully fledged HOTAS compatible mode with none of the standard flight aims and control assists and all of that. Now, when they were asked, why should I play your game, Double Damage responded with this. If you don't think spaceships, biker gangs, decaying blue-collar Americana, machine guns, and a complete disregard for accurate space physics go well together, then there's probably not a good reason. So that should give you a pretty good idea about these guys and what they do and their personality. They're not taking themselves too seriously. It's all about fun and chaos with this game, and that's what RGO is. It's unadulterated, unapologetic fun. And there's a story too. Juno Markev was an outlaw and smuggler who went straight and settled down until her husband was murdered on what should have been a simple shipping run. She's on the trail of the guy that did it. Things don't go as planned. After an encounter in a shady watering hole goes bad, her ship is destroyed and she finds herself in debt to an old friend and casino owner who gives her a rust bucket and some words of advice. So the game has a bit of a Cowboy Bebop style vibe to it, and the galaxy, gameplay loops, and some of the locations and characters that have been shown in this early gameplay footage just look and feel very alive and interesting. I love the whole space cowboy idea, being out there hunting bounties and saving credits for some sweet new ship upgrades, getting into some crazy out of the blue battle and then barely surviving by the skin of my teeth before my poorly little ship just barely scrapes it back to the nearest space bar, so I can unwind with a few games of pool or go on the arcade machines while I'm trying to call in some favours and gather some info for that next lucrative tip that might finally be the one that leads me to riches and glory and that final payoff. So yeah, I'm pretty hyped about the whole content of the game. It looks and feels great from what I'm seeing so far. Now, a couple more things that you need to know about the game. It's single player only, full stop. No multiplayer, no online, none of that. It's a one-person experience for you to sit, play, and enjoy on your own. You pilot one-man fighter ships. They're insanely customizable. Colors, parts, weapons, shields, gear, tuning, tweaking, all of that is going to be a huge part of the game. customizing and upgrading your ship to make it truly feel like your ship, making it suit your playstyle and dogfight tactics with the looks, feel and loadout that works for you. The ship is going to be your baby in Rebel Galaxy Outlaw. I can't stress this aspect enough in the video, in all honesty. The visual customization alone in this game is just crazy. It's basically a fully fledged, fully featured Photoshop type editor built into the game just for you to change the way that the ships look. It's probably going to take me a good few hours just to try and get to grips with that, just to try and learn the basics, how to use all of these various layers and tools that are available to you for making your ship look the way you want it to. Oh yeah, and once you've made the sweetest looking ship that you can also then go ahead and order a 3D printed version of it to be shipped straight to your door as a cool bit of personalized merch, and that is just something that I thought was freaking awesome. Now, while all of this upgradability, detail and customization is awesome, just make sure you know that it is very much a one-man cockpit based flight and combat type thing that you're going to be doing here. You're not going to be out there creating and running and managing a huge fleet of starships. You're not going to be piloting mega vessels or freighters. It's much more of a Han Solo type deal. But don't worry, there are tons of different looking ships. They're all good at different things. They all have different stats and strengths and weaknesses, and some of them do actually look pretty freaking big, even though they are more the one-man style of ship. Music is also going to be a huge part of this. I mentioned earlier, 21 hours of music, radio stations, custom tracks, custom music, custom radio ads, voiceovers, all of that sort of stuff in the game, created for the game, across these 7 different radio stations that you're going to be able to listen to. There's a bit of everything in there, so you should always be able to find something on the radio to suit your mood, whether you're out for some chill cruising through the stars or trying to get yourself amped up for some crazy high-octane space battle carnage. Or you can just turn the radio off completely and the game will play its own dynamic music themes in the background in a bit more of a less overpowering and obvious way. And another thing, this game is not child-friendly at all. Swearing happens in this one. Now, another key thing that a lot of people looking at gameplay from this are probably going to pick up on straight away is that the combat, while very fast-paced, also looks quite arcadey in tone. And it is very much that kind of fast, furious, frantic, arcade style of game. There are all sorts of flight assists, targeting aids, and balancing systems that all help you focus on the rapid action, on blasting your enemies, pulling off sweet maneuvers seamlessly without losing sight of your opponents. Basically, loads of stuff to stop you just ending up drifting around, lost, getting shredded from all angles without even being able to keep track of where the enemies are. And for somebody like me, this sounds perfect, but of course, there are a huge amount of hardcore old-time space sim veterans out there that are going to be cringing uncontrollably at the sound of that. Well, you'll be glad to know that you can turn all of that sort of stuff off completely if you do want a more authentic, hardcore space sim type of vibe. If that's your thing, there is a bit of that for you here too. And that, in a nutshell, is Rebel Galaxy Outlaw. It's a game that doesn't take itself too seriously and very much keeps that focus on the action, on the adrenaline, on all of the awesome aspects that you think about as a kid when you dream of being a fearless bounty hunting space outlaw, adventuring through the far reaches without a care in the world. And it looks freaking brilliant. There's not a huge deal of hype around the game at the moment. Not too many people are talking about it. It is a smaller studio. It's not this massive grand scale AAA budget thing coming out. It's not going to be the next biggest game the world has ever seen, but it does look cool, it does look unique, and it does bring together just loads of the stuff that you kind of want in this type of game, but for some reason doesn't already exist in quite this way. We've got these other games, we've got loads of space games now, we've got sims, we've got arcadey games, we've got all sorts of stuff, but nothing that really brings it all together in this sort of way that lets you just go out there and be a lone bounty hunter or hero or explorer and stopping by all these bars and stations and just kind of living that sort of life. So yeah, I hope it's able to deliver on that feel. It's going to be great for people that just want to kind of role play through the galaxy. There's so many things you could kind of do in your mind with this, especially being a single player game. especially with all of these different types of missions that you can choose to pick up, with all of the little interactions you can have at the little bars and stations out there in space. It just looks fun. There's a lot of interest here, there's a lot of possibility, and I can't wait to jump in. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one. If you did enjoy it, please do remember to let me know with a like and a comment. And of course, if you do want to support me that little bit extra, I have got the Patreon, and that'll be linked below too. And until next time, take care and see you, Space Cowboys. Just want to give a very big thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. It honestly feels freaking amazing to know that there are people out there that believe in what I do and think it's good enough to support me that extra step. So a huge thank you to Anakey, Dale from the Atlas Hub, David D, DeadDerezzer, Forgotten Stoner, Heath, HusbandVader, Jeremy J, Johannes A, Jtecnique, Kyle Culver, Lukash M, Foraday, Madeline J, Malindog, Mark F, Mark D, Mingrui, Neil B, NTB, Ongrad, Autumn Long, Paul Lawson, Rasmus K, Russell H, Shirokumajelly, Wise Gek G, the Golden Gek, the Portrait Dude, Todd C, Todd H, TyTheBlazer, Vanella, and Varuna. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.